Hi guys, welcome to episode 2 to Fish and Tales.
Fish and Tails, Tins and Tails.
Wait, oh, Tins and
Double fish. Just get rid of the
Tins and Tails.
Hi, welcome to Tins and Tails, where we review books and tinned fishies to try and eat as we discuss the book of the month.
Every month, we vote in a book, and we also vote in a tinned fish or seafood while we are reading the book. We are on our third episode. I'm Juju.
My name's Gabe.
I'm Jasmine.
I'm Ryan. Welcome.
Going to the third episode of Tins and Tails.
Our fish this time around is some smoked salmon in extra virgin olive oil.
EVOO.
Gabe, it's
Yeah.
upside down.
Oh shit.
Oh,
shit.
Oh, you had it right. That part's upside down.
Oh.
Brand.
Smoked
Okay,
salmon, extra virgin. Mm.
extra virgin, just like you get now. Sorry.
Raw.
Oh, yeah.
Not anymore.
This art is just so beautiful.
I'd actually have it tattooed on me, TBH.
Same.
Yeah, that's true.
It's really nice.
It's literally a smoked salmon.
Yeah.
Kudos to the
salmon is
person who
just
designed
fucking
these.
smoking.
I actually really appreciate the packaging for like this company.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the packaging for the last one too. Thanks for the smoked cod liver.
Oh, was that a different one?
Yeah.
Gabe, what's the book of the month?
All right, so the book of the month is called Island of the Blue Dolphins, written by Scott Odell.
Oh, yeah.
This book was actually recommended by, I think, Jasmine. And for the first time, I actually contributed into this.
Yeah, he read the book!
And actually got the book and read it. You know, halfway through, yes, I used an audiobook, but it was actually very interesting. And I think I will continue into this, into the grind of reading.
Hell
As
yeah.
you remember last episode, Gabe was in the role of the moderator, but this time around, he not only read the book, but had thought of, I was going to say some questions, but I don't know if you did that or not, but...
Well, we'll have to. I'll
We
try
will
to-
improvise. Once
We'll improvise.
Capital
Let's give
improv
Gabe
skills,
a
guys.
quick round of applause for finishing a book.
Hell yeah. Good job,
yeah.
brother.
Still
Oh
proud of
yeah.
you.
Let's see if if this next book I'll actually read it.
Gabe has a pass. He started as a moderator. If he chooses to read and finish it's okay.
Yeah.
That's true. That is
You
true.
can finish
Yep.
the book.
We're very
you can
accepting
stay
here at
halfway
Tins
through
and
the
Tails.
book. Whatever you want to do, man.
It's-
Just ask us some questions. That's all we need at the end of the
Man.
day. Yeah.
I'm just here.
Whether he's driving or participating in the back, who knows?
I'm just here,
He's
guys.
running off the cliff.
His alignment, take them off.
My car alignment. Let's see if next episode my car alignment is done.
Is Gabe
It
dead
would
or
be
is
like
it your alignment?
No counter.
It's like on the fucking 5th episode. Is your car still aligned?
5 episodes means 5 months.
They stop donating for tins, and they start donating for...
He's just like, Jesus Christ, get your damn car aligned.
They're like, we want you on the show still. Get your fucking alignment.
You gotta eat this damn fish.
We need you to eat the fish and review the books.
Shall we dive into this fish?
Would you guys like to share what you're pairing with the fish?
We are pairing club crackers. I should probably show the box.
She
We are
also
pairing
got
club
club
crackers.
I got this confiture from Wegmans. It's blood orange. I learned that a confiture is jelly spread, but in syrup. So it's like, I don't know. It's really cool. I don't know if you see the label. But it's going to add like a nice citrusy flavor, which I did research on. Apparently, it does really good with smoked salmon. And to top it, I got some ginger paste right here. Doesn't look appetizing on camera right now. I got some lemon slices, club crackers. Yeah.
Organic sourdough flatbread bites. Wow.
Yeah, what he said.
You make us look like we have more money than we actually have.
Yeah, I kind of felt that about how much he spent.
Well, you got more money than me, obviously.
And I also got garlic herb brie. Cheers, little flattered.
Very beautiful charcuterie board.
Coochie
you.
bowl.
Man, I can't wait to make my own coochie. The charcuterie.
All right.
All right, kid.
I can't wait to make my own coochie.
It's a
So-
charcuterie board.
and cream cheese with chive and onions.
So, chat, we ready to try some fish?
Yes.
Fish, yeah.
Gabe's first time taking his virginity in the tins and tails.
Indeed.
My
Fish virginity.
My fish virginity.
I'm gonna go with my classic here.
I was gonna do is classic.
My classic kind of.
Cats eat fish, bro.
I know, but it just my first thought. It sounds like cat food.
You're so right.
Does.
Oh.
Oh.
My inner warrior cats is just meow. Do I smush it or do I just put it on top of the cracker?
Could do either or.
I could probably try and flake it up too.
Yes, for the viewers wondering why last episode Gabe and I were on separate screens, but in this episode we are on same screens, it is because Gabe is trying the tinned fish with me. That is not in the camera shot right now, but he is actually trying the tinned fish this time around in addition to reading the book.
No, actually, she just has me hostage. I've been in the basement for a couple of weeks. This is the only time I have free time.
And the stream.
This is a humiliation ritual.
Humiliation ritual.
Please help me.
No, blink twice.
Can you guys see me blinking?
No.
Shove sunglasses in his face.
He censors me.
He's like a black bar over your face.
It's like that one TikTok audio or that trend where coworkers share about how their shift went and they start cursing, but it cuts off to like an automated. My shift went really well. I'm very glad for the opportunity to work.
That's Gabe.
Ryan just edits my face just like blurred out and like
my voice changes into like a deeper quality, so you can't identify my voice.
You have to like on like those people that volunteer on crime shows.
This is actually really good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I was just saying I like the aftertaste.
The smoky finish. I did a club cracker with the blood orange confiture, smoked salmon, and ginger, and then I did a cracker with that sourdough bread shit with smoked salmon, cream cheese, and then a little bit of brie.
I did cream cheese and salmon. Now I'm just doing a cracker and salmon. This is the farthest a fish has gotten for me.
You can definitely taste that smokiness. It's nice.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of I don't know why, but I feel I see myself in a Chinese buffet right now.
You should give it a shot.
With the fish?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I'm
Yeah,
in a Chinese buffet in person right now.
Is it because it tastes like a salmon roll, or
I don't know. I've never had salmon at a Chinese buffet.
have you ever
Really?
had
You've
salmon?
never had
period?
salmon?
I've had salmon before, but not like this.
Okay, I was like, please tell me this is not your first time. Like,
I've had salmon before. It's just the way my dad prepped it is kind of weird.
actually, what does he do? I'm kind of curious.
He just air fries.
Excuse me,
He
what's the
what?
actual
He just
what?
air fries it.
He
Air
air fries the salmon.
Yeah.
Air fry salmon?
Yeah.
Why does he air fry it?
I don't know. It's my dad, okay?
I've been to your house. You have a stove.
I don't know. I'm not the one who eats it all the time. He's the one that cooks it.
I have so many questions.
I would rather have them unanswered.
The best way you could have responded to that.
I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, this is like really delightful.
Holy gee, it's delightful.
Holy gee, what a delightful little cracker!
You know what would be good with this?
What?
Some like rice and mayonnaise.
I could see it.
My favorite still is the Scottish style smoked salmon.
Is it from
What's Scottish style?
How fucking
English.
smoky it is.
We just lose all the viewers from Scotland. Well, none of them.
Or only one supporter.
And he's like, oh. I guess he's Scottish, so he'd be like, oh.
Now I really want to go to Scotland and see.
Oh, dude, I've always wanted to go to Scotland. I'd love to just hear him talk because I'm not pissed myself laughing.
Scotland forever! I enjoy this.
Are we gonna rate?
Oh yeah,
Let's do our
go through our rating.
fish ratings.
I'll go first. So this is my first time trying this. I'll actually give it an 8 out of 10. I only took like 2 points off only because I'm not used to like the olive oil. It's very oily for me. But like I mean that's the whole point of like the tin. It's having like oil with it. But other than that, it's actually pretty good. I like the aftertaste. I like the texture. The texture's not too slimy. Yeah, 8 out of 10.
Viewers don't know this, but my friends do. I'm a fan of seafood. I also am a fan of salmon. The fact that this tastes so good on its own, and I'm only eating it with a cracker, like I can only imagine how good it is paired with other things. So the fact that it's this good on its own, I'm gonna have to probably say like 9 out of 10. Like that, I could probably eat this just on its own, even without the cracker. Like it is tasty.
Juju in her office just pulling
Pulling fish tin over there. That's not even one that for this club. Like
People do that. They just straight up bring tinned fish to their offices for lunches. It's crazy.
Dude, hell yeah, some fucking herring, crack that open, some saltine crackers. It's a great fucking snack.
That is the whitest thing I've ever heard from you.
I feel like that's the whitest thing I've said. That's probably a good thing, though.
I'm not used to the texture, but it's not terrible for me. I really like the taste, and it pairs great with all of these things that I picked out. Like, oh my god. I still stand by that I like the Scottish style much better, but this is up there a lot. And it's just so versatile. And like Juju said, it's really great on its own, too. So, 8 out of 10.
I'm gonna have to agree with Juju. This is like the first one that I've actually really enjoyed. Even by itself, it's been fine. And I like salmon in general, but this one's just, I don't know. I'm like ranking it out of how I view tinned fish in general, which is very low. So this is doing very well for me considerably. But yeah, 9 out of 10 for me.
Island of the Blue Dolphins is a children's novel written by Scott Odell. It's a story about a girl named Karana surviving alone on an island off the coast of California. It's based on a true story about a woman named Juana Maria, a Nicolino Native American who was left by herself on the San Nicolas Island for 18 years. If you're the kind of lover of tales who's into survival and self-reliance, or someone who loves themes of forgiveness and character-developing animals, then this one's for you. But if that isn't your style, that's okay. Spoilers ahead though, so turn away, maybe not, up to you.
The book, huh?
Wow, so good. I rate it.
What an island. What a dolphin.
So we're gonna do the questions in like different kinds of like, themes. Like we're gonna talk about the writing styles, overall themes, authors, just simple questions that we would like to discuss. I think it's good to start with the author because the story does start with a little like in the beginning before the chapters actually start. We have like an introduction, like give a little backstory of like the overall island. So first question, how did the author use language, tones, structure, imagery, dialogue, etc. to tell the story and create an effect on the reader?
Oh, that's a good question. I thought the author did a really good job of using structure, tone, imagery. Specifically imagery, I felt like he really did a lot of research on this book, not just in terms of culture, but just in terms of geography. There's a lot of good descriptions that really paint an image. And since the book is targeted for children, I do think this gives a really good image for kids who may not be as familiar with some of the topics in the book. And it does provide like a really solid image in your head to go with it, but still leaves enough room to where you can kind of fill in the gaps yourself and kind of have like your own interpretation of what that might have been like, since there is such limited knowledge on what he was writing about. I thought the author did a really good job of it.
I have to agree with what Juju said, like heavy on the imagery. I think everything flowed really nicely and the tone was pretty great. But the way he put his descriptions down, I really felt like I was like actually where she was. I just felt like I was in the environment with her. Sorry, I'm blanking hard today.
Nah, you're good, dude.
I agree with the rest. I think like the simple like sentence structure that they had kind of like brought out how the character is. She's like, what, 15-year-old girl or something like that. Her like talking in like these simple sentences and stuff like that. Her like describing it, but it's still like vivid enough where you can actually picture everything. I thought that was like really good. And yeah, I think that is my addition.
For me, I think the author did an okay. When it comes to imagery, yes, I painted a good picture of like the whole island itself. But there were like some areas where it's just like when the character was describing like the length and they used like some metric of something, I'm like, I even know what that means or how long that was. If I find it, I will mention it. But it was just like the metric that they mentioned. I had no idea how much that was, so I can't really visualize how big the island was. But my assumption is that the island's sort of big enough for, a village to stay there and survive. But otherwise, I did really enjoy the imagery that she provided. When it comes to tone, however, I won't necessarily say that he did a good job because like there were some areas where it's just like some events obviously was like very tragic. And then there was just like, it's just another day that this girl is just doing daily chores.
I kind of do have to agree with that.
Yeah, it's just like 1 second there's like a huge fight between two animals, and then the next page or next chapter is just like the same tone, and it's just her doing regular stuff, her gathering stuff
pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I will counter
it's
that
like
with like she was 15. is my only thing. So like, and she's like used to all this stuff. Probably not her whole clan getting slaughtered, but like, you know, the rest of the shit that's going on. That I agree with.
Yeah, even then, even with the fight between the Aleuts and her people, I still didn't feel like there was an epic battle. Compared to like other books that I've read, especially when it comes to like warrior cats and then how they describe their battles. It's completely fucking different. But like,
no, that's fair. That's a fair comparison. It is like a child book as well.
Like obviously there is a battle going on between, but there's nothing that I could say that the tone that she gave off was just like, oh, this was a very intense battle. This was a very important battle that changed this girl's life and like changed the whole history of the whole island. You know what I mean? The structure wise, I mean, it was okay. I enjoyed the structure. I liked the chapters, how like some chapters it just would go on and how she described how she like built some companionship with certain animals, how she hunted, how she built stuff. But I just felt like it was repetitive. But like, I mean, what else could you do in an island? How can you stretch this out? But I just feel like they could have done a little more something, or, you know, I don't know. It was just repetitive. And I feel like that's where I got a little tired of just reading it by myself and just using an audiobook halfway through it.
Not to comment on your response to this, but I think that's really interesting that you say that, because the repetitiveness and like almost like that feeling of not wanting to read it on your own, I think that almost like highlights the isolation that the character was almost going through.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Like your opinion on it is just so interesting. It's like it really does show, like, I'm sure she probably thought the same thing, like having to do the same things every single day and having to really build up to these moments where it's like, to us, the readers, it's like, yeah, we're getting to these points. And then like for her, it's like there was probably even more days in between that the author doesn't even describe, where she just like kept doing the same things, but she had to because it was just her.
And now that you point that out, it makes more sense, because for us, the reader, we have like 29 chapters, and for me it felt like she was there for just like less than a year, but like I know it's more than less than the year that she stayed there on that island.
It was something
like, it was like 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, like that girl was there for a long time, and I see where you're coming from, but it's just like, as a reader reading this, it's just like, oh man, one chapter there's, you know, some activity, but then the next she's sewing something, she's building something, she's hunting. I'm like, all right. When are the ships coming? When are like her people gonna come back?
She wished the same too. She was like, man, wish the next chapter could come so I could figure out what happened.
Yeah.
Turn the pages faster, please.
She's like reading with you.
Yeah, I was at chapter 6. After chapter 6, I was just like, you know, audiobook. I can't do this. I can't read it. I can't. All right, next questions. Did the author's style and voice suit the genre and tone of the book?
I think so. It's a survival book.
Yeah.
Like what Ryan said for 15-year-olds at start, yeah. And I think there were like some moments where it was obviously that she was just like still a little girl. And I think there was one point where she was thinking about her sister, and then I was like, she probably has a bunch of children. And then like she compared her pets as like her children that she wished she had. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I feel like that point of time, she was already like at the stage where she's thinking about having a family, compared to like before she was just thinking of like survival. And now she's like, man, I wish I could have a family just like, you know, like the pets that I have. I think that's pretty interesting. I like it.
Building on that, she didn't really have the structure for maturity. And that's not to say like maturity is dependent on the environment around her. But it's funny that you say that, because before it was, like, I just have to survive until the boat comes back. And then at some point she did transition into like, I want more. Like, is there anything beyond this? Like, I'm content, but could there be, you know, what could have been? And just, it kind of goes to show like over that length of time, like over those decades where she just matured over time. And like, I thought the author did a good job with that, because it's not so much that we like grew up with her, but you could tell where her mindset started to change from like a survival to like an actual like life and like a living mentality.
To build off of that, rolling into it, I agree. I think you can also tell where the societal structure that she was used to was just kind of stinted where she was at, and then as she progresses into that mindset, it's just based off of what she knew beforehand, but like 15 and under. So she didn't really get that chance to like develop outside of that. I mean, granted, within that tribe, it was probably just going to be the same thing, but to not have societal structure after that age for like almost 20 years, I think it shows, and you can see it.
To go to the structure of it, the whole time I was just kind of reminded of like the book Hatchet. I don't know if you guys know that book or whatever. It's a survival book. Guy gets like stranded in the woods with only a hatchet after a plane crash. Like, I was just reminded of that. The style of it kind of also reminds me of Ernest Hemingway, not to pull out my English degree here, but he writes really simple stuff that forces you to like read between the lines.
Yeah.
Like I think he wrote like Hills Like White Elephants, if you guys know what that is. It's like a short story about an abortion. It does not
I don't
but
read.
it's like these simple structures where you just kind of have to pick up between the lines.
Interpret.
Yeah, this is like not exactly like that because she's like 15 and growing up into it, but like you get the feeling of exhaustion like you were talking about earlier. Like, I just want to flip to the next chapter already. I'm done with this. She goes from survival to like being a woman. It's developing in that way, and then you have to kind of read between the lines how she's feeling at that point.
Now that you mentioned the book Hatchet, I also started to remember this book. It's another survival book. This little kid runs away, runs into the woods, and then he trains an eagle or something, or I think it's called My Side of the Mountain or something. That was just another survival book that I was forced to read during elementary. Next questions, I think the more fun ones. So first question, who was your favorite character and why?
Well, you know, the animals do count as characters, guys.
Yeah, the animals do count.
I mean, I kind of thought the development, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I love the protagonist, I really do. I would have to say probably her, and then I also really liked the first dog.
Rontu.
Yes,
Rontu. I really liked Rontu. I just thought it, like, the development of it, like, this animal, and just, like, how it went from, like, a wild animal to eventually being domesticated, and just how much it meant to her, because it was also part of her development, too. Like, when she started to almost, like, this companionship and just finding it in this dog, even though, like, it's almost like a redemption arc. Like, this dog went through, like, a redemption arc, even though, like, it had done this atrocious thing of, like, killing her brother.
Naming a wolf out a while.
Yeah, literally. It's like the dream of like every modern, like middle-aged guy that wants to tame a wolf. Yeah, I would probably say the main character for sure. And then I loved Ron too. I just thought both of them were just such solid characters. And there were other animals too that I really liked, but those two just really stuck out to me.
I have to agree with Ron too. I thought it was actually a pretty good parallel to Karana, which is the main character's name. I just couldn't help but like see the parallel between, I mean, it was for a reason, but she kind of broke off from her family to save another, and then she got isolated from it, and then Rontu, it wasn't by his choice. He kind of got, poisoned or shot or both by Karana.
Got shot with an arrow.
Yeah, she nursed him back to health. But I think just the concept of being kind of taken away from like your pack or your society, and then them finding themselves in each other in like a nice companionship where you're missing your original family, but you found companionship. I don't know. I couldn't help but like see a parallel between her and Rontu was just really cute. I just love Rontu. Bro was just straight chill. Like, I mean, he occasionally went out, hung out with his friends to make babies, and then came back, and then that was it.
And he's like, I did my job.
Him being a casual sperm donor was something I didn't expect.
He'd be like, I want to go now! And then she'd let him out, and then he's gone for like 2 days.
And all of a sudden he has a
like,
son.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, all of a sudden he has a son. Like, whoa. I have to agree with everyone else. Rontu is fucking great, man. They beefed up this wolf character. Made him like one of the best characters in the whole thing. At the beginning, I was like, what is with this fucking beef that this wolf has with this girl? Like, this wolf is leading a pack of dogs. He's beefing with a 15-year-old girl all the time that keeps trying to kill him. Like, bro, chill. Just go somewhere else. She's not gonna hurt you if you go somewhere else. And he didn't. And then he ended up becoming best friends with her. So that was like a cool little development there.
I feel like I remembered something. Didn't Rontu come from the Aleuts?
Yeah, I was just about to mention, like, he was actually domesticated first when the first Aleuts came, but then when the Aleuts left him, and then he stuck with like other wild dogs and like other wolves.
Yeah.
Parallel that I was talking about earlier then kind of fits a little better than what I was trying to get at, now that I remember.
Yeah, but they brought like a straight up fucking wolf to this island of like regular ass dogs, which is really funny to me. And then she ends up taming giant ass wolf. But yeah, like Rontu was the best character. I liked seeing him just kind of turn around and become like this cool wolf man that was always there. Like her always traveling with Rontu was also like really sweet and stuff. Especially like that one scene where she was tackling, what was it, a squid or something? And Rontu was like, Rontu was like caught up in the tentacles and shit. Also, Rontu's death was really sad.
Yeah, I did hear about that. I was like, oh no.
I didn't expect his son to come out and replace him though.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
It came out of nowhere.
The fact she like sought him out too.
Yeah,
like,
she's like, "You're mine now, boy."
she was
I mean, like,
definitely
you look exactly
talking
like
to
your
him
father. You're
once
mine.
And was like,
It's Jover. I know who you are.
just buried your dad. You're coming with me.
I love Ron too. You can't not love this dog or this wolf. In the beginning of the story, you knew that this wolf was going to be like important because whenever the girl would mention like, oh, it's the same gray wolf with the yellow eyes.
Yeah.
Like you knew it's like, oh yeah, this one's going to be tamed eventually, or this
Yeah.
is the wolf from the cover. And I just love like how he just joined along. Like obviously it took a while for him to be with her, but like he was just like, yeah, I'm chill here.
He shot me and then nursed me back to health, but I guess we're chill.
I guess we're chill now. You
I
can
guess
be
we're
my
chill.
friend.
I
guess
also
I
love.
deserved that for killing your brother. Yeah, that's
Rip.
valid.
Oh, I don't know. I found that kid annoying. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
He was really little.
wanted to provide, and then he provided a grave.
Provided food for maggots and worms
Yeah.
6 feet under.
Because he kept the island thriving. I mean,
My other favorite character is obviously the otter that she nursed back to health.
Bonnie.
At first,
I saw this coming.
Wanati, because at first she thought it was a male. But then, like, over the summers, it came back. She brought 2 pups. And now she's like, well, now you're not Wanati, you're Wanani or something. I'm like, oh my God, that's adorable. I kid you not. When I started reading this and I found out the Aleuts were killing otters for their fur, I was like, what the fuck? For those who don't know, I'm obsessed with otters. It's like my autistic
Obsessed.
liking. I love otters. The amount of otter stuffed animals that I have is, you should be worried of how much I love these animals. So reading about the Aleuts coming and, skinning them alive, it's kind of sad. Like for me, towards the end, when I found out, when the girl was just like, yeah, I mean, the otters knew that, during this time it was dangerous, so they moved up more towards the island. I was kind of happy that, they're not being killed anymore. But yeah, I mean, those are my 2 favorite characters. I love animals, period.
It was a good collection of animals.
True. She fucking collected
I
them all.
forgot how many she had gathered. Like she got one. I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. All right.
That's
all right.
enough
collecting them.
slices.
She saw birds that she's like, you're
They're
mine.
mine now.
Flipping your
Oh, you
way.
need a
I'm also gonna take your whole bloodline.
Yeah.
All right, next question. How did the secondary characters impact or influence the main character?
Well, there's this dog named Ronson. No.
I guess since we kind of answered this with one of the characters, I'll take this from a different lens. Obviously, we know that the Aleuts had influenced the main character by massacring her entire tribe. Another secondary character that did kind of influence some of her perspective towards the end was that Aleut girl, where there was that language barrier where they were communicating, but it was very much through visuals, and it's because they didn't have that phonic, they didn't speak the same language, but they were still trying to find ways to be like, oh, this is my word for this, and they would have this recognition. And that part was kind of cool. It was a little bit random in my opinion, but I do think that character had an impact on her because she just kept thinking about her even after she left.
I would say Ramo was a pretty decent impact because if it weren't for him, she wouldn't have been able to go back to the island. I mean, honestly, she wouldn't have gone through the fate that the rest of her tribe had. I think that her going back to the island was a better outcome for her because she had a really unique personal growth on that island even after he died. But even his death led her to more companionship after that, even though it was revenge induced at first. But I mean, it led to a series of events where Ramo died. She goes to seek out the wolves that killed him. She tries to kill Rontu, but then tames him because forgiveness and all that. And
Family.
it's a wolf. You can't be mad at a wolf for doing what nature does. They just want to eat, Same thing as she's trying to do. If she didn't have Rontu at her side, I don't want to say she wasn't capable of being by herself all the time, but not having that companionship would have had a different outcome, I feel to her time on the island. And it was all because Ramo couldn't fucking hurry the fuck up. So I would say Ramo had a domino effect impact.
I forgot what her father's name was, but I'm going to say him because half of the stuff that she was utilizing to survive, she knew because of her dad. She saw him do the stuff. She saw them make bow and arrows and shit like that. And and the different advice. On the same side of the coin, though, he also said women can't do shit. Otherwise, bad stuff will happen. So it prevented her from doing a lot of stuff in the beginning because she was scared that bad stuff was going to happen to her. And she constantly had that fear in the back of her head, too. I think that came up when the big giant storm came up. she thought it was some form of revenge because she'd been doing all the stuff that her like tribe and her father told her that women aren't supposed to be doing. So he helped her in the way that he did not want to help her when he was there in the tribe. So that like really impacted her survival. I mean, if she didn't know half of that stuff, and if she was just like a weak woman that like depended solely on men, she would not have survived. She would have gotten destroyed. Would have been gone.
A 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah, snack.
I completely agree with Ryan. That was initially my answer too. It would be like her father, because not only did he influence her in a positive way, but also in a negative way. But then again, like her own growth overcome that and be like, yeah, my father says that if a woman makes a bow, then it will break. It will never work and I will never hunt. She kind of proved that wrong. And she continued to make and craft all this other stuff that, you know, her own village was against. And she was just like, hey, nothing actually bad happened. I mean, obviously, you know, when she tried to leave the island, but I don't think that was relevant in that kind of case. When she was stayed on the island, when she came back, she built more bow and arrows. She built a spear with the tusk of the elephant seal and makeshift cave den thing. The rules of her village held her back in the beginning, but then like throughout the story, as she grew as a person and started to understand that she's there to, you know, like for survival and she has to do what's best for her, she sort of like shrugged that off and continued to do what was necessary for the benefit of herself and also for Rontu and like for her other like companions that she, you know, came forward with. And I feel like what Ryan said also, if it weren't for like her background knowledge, basic village stuff, like she knew all the types of herbs. She knew what to hunt, what it took to hunt all these different kinds of animals. Even though she wasn't allowed to hunt back when she was with her village, she still had that knowledge. And I think that, you know, her village is still within her, even though her village is completely gone. She did the work of what a village would do throughout the story. And I feel like,
Guess who's still standing?
Yeah, not her brother either.
you know, this is low-key giving me Saffron vibes.
I thought that the whole
Well, I was actually thinking of Saffron at some
So yeah,
point.
the whole time I was just like, man, Gabe would love this because this would be such like background inspiration for Saffron.
True.
Yeah, if Saffron was like left alone in an island and her people were all gone, this is definitely what the character growth she would go through. And you know, I feel proud of her for overcoming that, like the misogynistic ways of her village. I mean, obviously they have like reasons. It's an island. We don't know much about them. But again, she overcame it and she did her best and survived. And she did a damn good job surviving on that island. But yeah, that's my take on it. So I know that we've mentioned, especially for me, that this book was kind of boring because it was repetitive. But the next question is, how did the author keep you interested or surprised throughout the story?
Aside from just like the different developments that she had went through, like, you know, like eventually when Rontu was added, as she kept developing, I would say like one, the way that she just kept growing, not only as a person, but just the way she would survive. Like, oh, now she has a house. Now she has a boat. Now she, like, just watching her go through that, seeing like how long can she keep doing this until they come back. And I think the second thing would be whether the ship was going to come back. Because it's not so much that she was focused on that, but it was still in the back of her mind. And like she was still keeping track of time in her own way with like the etchings on the walls. I just thought it was interesting that she was like, oh, it might come back. Just kind of having that still in the back of her mind. Like at first it was a hope, but then it was kind of like, oh, I'm not even sure if they're going to at this point. And then once they did, it was still like in the back of her mind of like, it became passive at some point. So I would probably say those two things, aside from just like descriptive imagery and like a lot of like the different survival elements that he kind of added in there. There's so many different ways that she survived that like I wouldn't have never thought of, but like the fact that he just did that much research on it and just implemented that in the book to really keep it going. All of that was just super interesting to me to like see how she would end up surviving. Who's eventually going to find her? Like, is anyone going to find her? Just seeing like where she ends up, I thought really kept me going.
I have to agree. Mainly just if the ship was going to come back, because I mean, she had faith that her people were going to send out word and be like, hey, these two didn't make it on the ship. We should go back. Yeah, just if the ship was going to come back, she doesn't know what happened. I mean, she just holds on to that, like Juju said, like that back of her mind hope that they will come back so she can just be integrated back with her people and like society again. I mean, granted, she wasn't alone, but like it's different like being with animals than with like people. There's just a different connection there, especially as you're like aging. It feels like every couple years or so there was like foreshadowing to like
Hello there.
Rice.
right.
Right.
Oh.
Join. He just wants fish.
This is my Rontu. you can tell that certain things were leading up to like bigger events throughout the book. Like there was just hints here and there. I feel like it had a pretty good way of building up to such things. Like she had like new goals every couple years or so, like with the devilfish, with building the house or getting more animals or like moving or preparing for like the arrival of the Aleuts again when they come to go otter hunting. Yeah, just to see how that would play out with her and then see what her fate inevitably was, which was being picked up. Spoiler alert, the people did come, not her people, but like people from where they were supposed to go.
I guess I'm really into mundane things because I was kind of viewing this as like either Minecraft or Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Like just the way she kept acquiring new tasks and then was going out to go do said task. But once you got that task, another task opened up. So she had to keep doing that. At the beginning, I agree with Gabe. It was kind of like slow. It was a little boring for me. I was listening to it while I was also driving to like Syracuse. So yeah, it was just kind of slow. And then when she was alone on the island and building up her shit, I was just like, man, I just want to see how much she accomplishes.
Yeah.
Because this is like literally
read the level ups that she's going through.
Yeah, like it made me want to play Stardew, and I actually did start playing Stardew, so but it's the same kind of vibe. You're going out, you're doing shit, you're creating like a little farm for like she wasn't farming, but she was farming for fish. She was fishing. She's fish mastering.
She was fucking up.
She was yeah.
Abalones.
Oh my
Like,
yeah.
abalone. I got abalones. I dried some abalones. I cooked some abalones. Like, holy fuck.
Maybe she just likes the shape. No particular reason.
No reason at all.
Those who don't know what an abalone
Just look it up.
Yeah, it's a shellfish, and then just look up what it looks like.
I will not be providing you a picture. Just look it up. Maybe that's why she came across the French girl. That's where I thought it was going to go, TBH, when I was reading that section, but it didn't end up going like that. But just the way she described the French girl, I was like, this is a little lesbian-like. But yeah, anyway, I just like the simplicity of acquiring new things and leveling up, I guess.
Just like the rest of you guys, I'd also agree with like each chapter she would have a goal. I was just waiting for her to actually accomplish it. I don't know. It's just for me, it still didn't keep me reading it. I don't know if it's because I just don't read in general, but like I mentioned before, even after like the 6th chapter and I depended on the audio for the rest of the chapters, it was still kind of boring for me. I mean, I think the only climax that like made me interested or maybe like actually like lean into the book was like 2 events. It was when Rontu passed away and towards the end of the chapter when it was the Aleuts that came back or like the people that were, it wasn't the Aleuts, was it?
The Aleuts came at one point in between, and then at the end of the book, it was a different group of people.
That's when like towards the end, a different group of people came in. And then we learned the whole outcome of like what happened to people and then what happened to her. And then in the author's note, I feel like that's where I got more interested in the author's note. I don't know. I love history. So reading the author's note was more enjoyable than the actual story. I don't know why. I
can't wait to see Gabe's rating for this.
Yeah. Gabe, did you know this is based off a true story?
Yes.
Yeah, after I read this book, I actually did research on this because I was so interested in the history behind it.
Well, good thing we're transitioning into historic questions now. That's a nice transition, dude.
Yo, transition?
Right. But yes, overall, I don't think there was any situations that kept my interest. There was no point other than the death of this poor
the author's note
doggy.
You said the author's note. It kept you interested.
Oh, yeah. At the total fucking end, yeah, absolutely.
Well, you had to read through the whole book to get through the author's note.
I know, yeah. I should have read the author's note first towards the end, as the manga.
I have no fucking idea what the book's about.
Yeah, I'm just going to start it like it. Next book, I'm going to start it like a manga. You read it from the back. Based off the story and historic events, we're going to be asking historical fiction questions. So the first question is, how did the author portray the historical setting and period of this book? Did you learn anything new or interesting about the time and place of the story?
I guess I'll go a little broader and then narrow it down from there. In a broader sense, I would say that a lot of people didn't know the island's history because after I read this book, I kind of did a little bit of research on this and they didn't know about, she was known as the lone woman. The name of the island starts with an N. I forgot the name of the island. San Nicolas Island, and it's off the coast of California. A lot of people didn't know, because like nowadays it's now like a military base, but before that, this tribe had existed there, and I think a lot of people didn't know. I mean, they might know the island, but they might not know the island's history. And the nice thing about historical fiction is it gives an opportunity to not only incorporate history, but give people a chance to learn about it. So it creates this like dialogue of like, hey, this thing happened. And even though some of the events in this specific story may not be true, it is based off of true events. And it kind of almost brings like an awareness to the fact that it happened, which is something I really liked about the way the author incorporated the historical events into the book, because a lot of people may not have known that. And had I not read this book, I probably wouldn't have known about the woman that was on San Nicolas Island. He even says in the author's note, he did a lot of research. He did a lot, not only on the tribe, but just like the geography and the way that somebody in this situation would have survived and the way that this woman had survived, since there was such limited information just from like a personal account. But yeah, I thought that the way that the author did it was very, and the fact that it's targeted towards children too, it's like a good way to introduce some of these topics in a way that not so much like glorifies them, but actually kind of like brings attention to them without it glamorizing it like some historical fiction for children does. I would say that the author did a really good job of doing the research and trying to do it in a way that was like their own take on it, so that's not just like a nonfiction story, but also still incorporated the events to like tell a larger part of the story and really like bring attention to it.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do too much research other than the fact that it was like a true story. Also learned that after she had left her island, I'm pretty sure she like died like a few weeks later from an illness, which is just like really unfortunate because she like went through all that and then decided she would leave. And then I think it's what happened in real life. I honestly don't have too much input on the historical aspect other than like I just remembered the lack of technology like in general back then. Like I kind of forgot that like they had to like make boats, and like people still have to make boats now, but like that tribe had to wait for like driftwood to come to their island to start making a boat. I thought that was pretty crazy. And then I didn't realize that this island was off the coast of California, I think. So I thought like it was just hard for me to imagine like California was like just right over the pond. I don't know. I just don't realize that old things existed, old places existed, events happened. Like
she was like, I was born and then stuff started happening.
I don't really invest that much into history, so like I just kind of get a little bit like, oh yeah. Oh, really?
Like Jasmine, I'm not like Vaughn, who is a super giant history buff, and that's his whole like major and everything. I'm the opposite of that, sort of. I did not read the author's note because, unlike everyone else, I listened to an audiobook that did not have the author's note.
Dare you?
It did not have it. It didn't have it. Don't.
Hold on. Aren't you an English major? Don't you read?
I did read it. I just drove and listened. It's the same idea.
He read it with his ears.
Yes.
I'm reading TV shows, guys.
Yes. No, that's not the same thing.
I'm reading podcasts.
Brother, no. Driving and listening to a book is the same thing as like reading it. Like I'm not looking at words, but I'm listening to them. I'm still obtaining the information. I just didn't obtain the author's note. I have to defend myself over an audiobook. Gabe fucking did the same thing. Gabe did the same thing. Let's raise red flags over the.
But I read the author's note. And
yeah. Well. Anyway.
He started reading audio and then went back to reading.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. I just straight up listened to it in my car for like 2 hours. But anyway, I didn't know a lot about the historical stuff, so like that kind of passed over my head. But some of the survival shit was just kind of like, damn, that's nice to know. I can't conjure up a single example right now because it's been like forever since I finished this. And I've read like at least 2 or 3 different books since then. But it's...
Same.
Yeah, like I do remember some of the stuff that came up and I was just like, wow, I didn't know this before. One of the things that Jasmine mentioned, even just like the wood. We live in fucking the place where there's wood everywhere, you know? Like you go outside, there's fucking trees everywhere. You don't think about it, and when you do think about islands, you probably think of like palm trees and stuff like that. So, I don't know, I thought that was interesting, the fact that like they needed to rely on wood like that. Yeah, that's my 2 cents. Gabriel, your turn.
Thank you. I think the author did a pretty good job in the beginning when it came to like the Aleuts coming into the island, and you sort of noticed the tension between the islanders and I wouldn't say settlers, but like the Aleuts, they've been there before, and the native people weren't happy because they took too much or they didn't do the end of their bargain when it came to trading. And I feel like trading back then was a huge profit, like especially during when Spanish settlers came to Mexico and took part of California, Mexico, and then parts of the Philippines and other islands around that area. I think it would be interesting if he contributed a little bit more in the author's note of explaining what kind of trade was going on in that area. Because, you know, back then it was like, yeah, California was still under Spanish control. So I wonder what that trade was. If settlers would go from like the Philippines for spices and then come to the cove where this island took place for like fur, and that's how they traded stuff. If there was a trading circle overall coming in and out of Northern America or whatever, and it's like, I don't know. I love that kind of concept. In the beginning of the book, they came in for a purpose. It was otter fur, and they had stuff in exchange. Obviously, the islanders were like, no, that's not useful for us, and you didn't do your end of the bargain. So that's how, you know, conflict came and killed most of the people in the beginning of the book. But other than that, I just feel like the author's note did a really good job explaining that the overall story that we read not only was like a nice note for like kids to learn about like, hey, this actually happened, but like clarified also in the beginning that, hey, this is not a romantic book. This is just my take on it. It's not like this girl was there for love or whatever. It's not like romanticized. It's just something happened and she was there alone. And this girl actually lived in this island for 15 plus years. And you know, she's buried. And yeah, I just like the fact that in this story, he didn't romanticize a lot of stuff. He was accurate when it came to traders and how complicated it was back then, especially with like native people, especially here in settlers came in America and they were doing like trading stuff in America, even though it was like shit. I just like that fact. I love historic stuff. I'm a huge nerd for historic stuff. So I think it was a nice concept in the beginning and in the author's note that he explained those kinds of stuff. I enjoyed it. I think that was the only part of the fucking book that I enjoyed. Other than
the beginning and the end?
Yes. The beginning and the end.
That's so ironic because those are the only parts you actually read instead of listening to.
Well, because listening to it was just repetitive. I went to hunt. I went to gather. I befriended a dog. I befriended a bird. The birds had babies. Oh, and there was this elephant. 2 elephants, seals fighting. Yeah, dead. But I gotta tell you, it was more than that. I like the beginning and the end.
Fair enough.
Nothing in between.
Fair enough. Can't win them all.
You guys have any other questions you'd like to discuss, or any topics, or any certain chapters that you guys want to like talk about?
I want to talk about the ending. How y'all feel about the ending with her going with the white man?
I hated it. I didn't like it.
I did not like that ending.
I felt like she was good enough to stay there as she is, and she could have tamed more wolves, you know?
Yeah.
Could have tamed the whole fucking pack. But she's like, no, I'm with the white man.
It felt so bitter to me. Not even bittersweet, just bitter because she's successful on this island in terms of like she's wealthy because she has all this shit that she's gathered and she has a house and stuff and she has fucking ton of companions. And then all of a sudden this boat comes up on shore and it's like, hey, by the way, your whole family is dead. Come with us. And she's like, okay. And then they
2 weeks later.
take her pretty ass like skirts away from her and stuff. Put her in like what? Like
fucking denim or
it was like cute trousers or whatever. It was
and
like
it was just like a straight down thing. So now they're inflicting stupid gender roles on her again. Who knows how long those lasted in the 3 weeks that she lasted afterwards. But she probably could have lived for longer as well. Didn't she die from like
an
disease?
illness going there, yeah.
For me, I just hate the fact that, one, they baptized her because obviously during the Spanish colonization, it was a very Catholic based, and they baptized her and they gave her a Spanish name and they totally ignored her native name and they just completely colonized her. It's similar to like Pocahontas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, oh, I did not like that.
I mean, I guess like the realism of it, but God, like you could have just cut it off where she got the son and continued the bloodline. The ending, just like the ending from the last book, the ending just did not need to be there. I know it's reality and shit like that, but like, come on. Make it a little nice.
I just don't believe she befriended that pastor or whatever. I think she was forced.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, she was so friendly with those men and stuff like that, and it's just like she didn't trust them up until this. There's no way one French girl like convinced her that all of them are good after all of them slaughtered all of her people
I think
Yeah.
the author was just trying to be like, she's desperate for human connection. We're going to throw it all away in like a couple days.
Yeah, that happened really fast.
Yeah, and everything else like was gradual over time, and then that was like, oh my god, people, if I don't go now, it'll never happen again, and I have to do it for some reason.
Yeah.
I guess that's technically kind of what happened in real life. I mean, like, I don't know if she was forcibly taken from the island or if she willingly went. I mean, that could be skewed in history. I want to rant about the author's decision to try and continue the story because I had recently learned there was a second book to this, and it is called Zia. So we were told, right, in the book, explicitly like, hey, all your people died. They didn't make it to the mainland, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we gathered. In the second book, it takes place as Karana's niece.
What?
Who knew the fact that her aunt was stuck on that island from what she was told. Yes.
Is that real?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, okay.
So he is romanticizing this or whatever.
He totally rewrote the ending so you could have another character that grew up on the mainland under the tribes people that were transported there, even though they were supposed to be dead and never made it to the mainland.
God,
So how is she supposed to have a niece that is like, oh, I know my aunt is out there somewhere. I have to find her. And this is the point where apparently in the book, she was still on the mainland when Karana was brought back to the mainland, and she had died a couple weeks after being there, but like Karana had told her about the island and whatnot. I don't know the full ending. I'm not gonna fucking read it. I think it's stupid because like I don't know what kind of like romanticization is going there. She wants to go on like this rescue mission for her aunt, but like she's not supposed to exist. Her people never made it to the mainland. What?
even if they did, wouldn't she have died just like
Yeah.
fucking what's her face did because of the disease? Like her immune system.
I was
Not like
about
her immune system.
I was just about to say though too, like I don't know, I feel like the author only did that just one for, you know, my first book did good, I'm gonna do a second book, and you know that completely flopped. I don't like those kinds of stories where they just keep romanticizing or keep adding on. It's the same thing with Pocahontas. The first movie and then the second movie where she completely forgets about the white man and marries another white man who we have no idea who this fucking dude is.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then
I didn't watch the second
stays with the
Pocahontas,
white
but I was
man.
like reminded just now of Mulan, because the second Mulan, I know people like it. Don't you like it?
The second one?
Yeah.
I like it for nostalgic purposes. I think like there were some elements of the story that I like, but
I don't think it was
I think
necessary.
they slaughtered her character in the second movie. He went from like a super powerful badass woman to Shang's wife. That sucks. That's what this sounds like. Super badass woman. Now we're gonna turn the attention to someone I can romanticize and make up because the history isn't already written out for me. Scott Odell, if you're still alive, sorry, write better.
Never write again.
or do that, yeah.
drop the pen, die. Yeah, it says young Zia is determined to travel back to her people's island to rescue her mother's sister Karana, who stayed behind. That would be Karana's sister, the older sister that went with the people on the boat that never made it to the mainland. I mean, I don't know. I haven't read the book. Maybe it explains like, oh, these people were lying just to get her to come along. I mean, that could be possible. It doesn't sound like it, because they were all like, oh, it's a continuation of the story of strength and survival and the challenges, but like, you're just kind of taking away from the first book.
Yeah, you're just kind
And
of
like rewriting what you already had established. I don't know.
Yeah.
I bet bro just wanted money.
This book was published 16 years after the first book.
Yeah.
Let's just ignore that book actually exists.
When I read about that discovery, I was like, are we for real right now?
Are we for real, chat?
Chat? Is this fucking
That's
real?
fucking crazy.
Is this real life?
I just wanted to rant about that. I was
Oh,
like,
that's so valid. I
Valid
did not know
point.
that.
Valid point.
I think it's stupid.
Would you guys recommend this book to other people?
I recommend it to children. That's what I was when I first read it. I mean, it was very nostalgic for me. I think it's a good, decent, solid book to give to like a third, fourth grader. I think that's when I read it. I mean, maybe even second grade. Get established into the...
Also teach them this is not how we treat women.
Yes.
You gotta get them early on, otherwise they're gonna start beating their wives.
Take notes, Ryan.
I'm not stuck here with him. He's stuck here with me. All right, let's get that.
I blinked 5 times. Please send help. I would also probably recommend it to children with that same context. Like maybe children in school. I don't think regular children would like reading this just on their own, just because it's like if Gabe doesn't like reading this, then why would a kid like reading it, you know? not comparing Gabe to a kid, but like, Gabe, we watch cartoons and shit and we find that entertaining. That's like what I'm going.
Okay. I mean, I'm not taking offense. That surprised me.
Oh, like if you like warrior cats and stuff, right?
I know. I knew you were gonna bring that up.
Yeah, well, it's on our list. Maybe we'll get it.
We should have a Warrior Cats mention counter for every time Warrior Cats.
I'm just saying Warrior Cats is.
No, I know. I just think it should be a counter, and I think it's. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm just trying to say like the counter should be there because I think it's a little funny.
I'm just saying Warrior Cats is way different from this book. Okay. Yeah. It is way completely different. Okay. There's actually action. There's actually character development. There's actually a good storyline. I can't wait until we start reading it. Okay.
China.
I can't wait
We're gonna
until we read Warrior Cats.
The Greenland.
Warrior Cats is the best. I love Warrior Cats. I don't think I would recommend this book. I would recommend something else.
I wonder what he would recommend, chat.
I won't say it, but you can put the counter on the corner if you want. I don't care.
Juju, would you recommend this to people?
Probably the same perspective. I would probably recommend it to somebody in like an academia sense. I think people would get more out of this from an educational standpoint rather than like a personal enjoyment. Unless you're a history buff, you might. But yeah, I think it's more impactful to a younger audience because it was clearly written for a younger audience. And just from like an academia standpoint, I think it's more impactful if you don't read the sequel.
I gotta put it out there. I haven't read this book since grade school. And I remember things differently than what I read recently, which is crazy. Random thing. I was so terrified of the devilfish section when I was a kid. Because I think I was in 2nd or 3rd grade. Because, like, I didn't correlate the fact that it was an octopus. For some reason, in my head, I imagined this cross between an oarfish, but with the face of, like, those really bug-eyed goldfish, you know? And I thought it was fucking huge in the book. I mean, that's just probably how I interpreted it as a kid. But I was, like, reading it like, oh my god, I'm never gonna go in the ocean.
Oh golly, it's gonna get me, the damn devilfish.
Yeah, and then I'm reading it now and I'm like, fucking octopus? Oh, what?
You know, I'm gonna be honest here. It took me a while to know what the fuck I was reading or what I was listening to. Until I saw like tentacles and then ink, I started to puzzle things together. But the first mention of the devilfish, I literally thought it was like, fuck, I don't even know what it was. It was not a fucking octopus.
Yeah, I didn't think it was an octopus either. I was thinking like a literal fish. And then I talked about the tentacles. Yeah. I was like,
I don't even remember the fight like off the reefs. I just thought, from what I remember as a kid, like the Cove area, that's when like that whole thing like came out like underneath her boat and was like looking at her. And it was like so much more ominous to me as a kid.
It's just because you have thalassophobia.
And yeah.
The origin story, guys.
I don't know. I guess I just wasn't like, I think my fear for the ocean like altered what I was reading when I was a kid. Because I didn't think she was fighting off the shore or off the reef. Like, I didn't think she was that close to, like, the beach. I was reading that. I was like, wait, that's it? I mean, fighting a giant octopus, that's not just it. But still.
Yeah.
I just imagined her, like, on a boat the whole time, like, trying to get this creature. And it's, like, kind of dark out. It's either open waters. Like, she's between open waters and, like, the cove. And this thing is just, like, lurking underneath her. And I'm like, I read it recently, and I'm like, what? I don't know. Definitely different from what I remember reading. I enjoyed it more as a kid than I do. I'm not saying that it's bad now. Like I've been saying, it's targeted for a younger audience.
That's fair.
Well, that's a good segue into rating.
All right, now time to rate the book.
Hey, what are you going to rate? No.
I can actually give a valid rating to this.
True.
That's true.
For one.
Yeah. All right, Juju.
Probably like, I'd say like an 8 out of 10.
Kid me, 9 out of 10. Current me, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. I think it's like nostalgic purposes, kind of keeping it elevated. And like we kind of mentioned, it wasn't too romanticized. Like it was just solely focused on her perspective, which I mean, I didn't like the ending perspective, but yeah, quick, easy, solid read. I agree with Ryan. I like the mundaneness of things. I like survival and the imagery and description's really good. I liked imagining being there. Unlike Harana, I could close the book and then just go back to it whenever I want. Yeah, that's my rating.
I think I'll do a 6.5, 6-ish, somewhere around there. A 10. I like the I like the mundaneness and stuff like that. And like Gabe mentioned, the beginning for me was kind of slow. Rontu's whole plot line really brought it on for me.
Yeah.
I was so excited for that dog to become like one of the family. And then she just kept collecting even more family members. And it was just nice. I like the mundane part of it. And then like at the ending, we've already mentioned that it just kind of fell off for me. Like I just kind of got mad. So that like brings it down. But I don't know. It's a decent book. Like it can be read in school. Yeah. 6.5-ish out of 10. Gabe?
I give it a 4 out of 10.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
You were
I
gonna give it.
really
I'm not gonna
thought-
lie.
I no, I was debating a 3 or a 4, but I only did a 4 because of 1, because of Rontu, 2, because of the otters, and I think it's just overall the fucking animals just made it better. I only physically read like a few chapters, and then at the end, and then the rest in the middle, just all audiobook, because it was just, I don't know, it's just because I just don't read in general. It was very repetitive, and I'm dead ass. I felt like I was falling asleep. I understand that it was a survival book, but other books that I've read that were also survival books, there was actually shit going on, and it was more descriptive. From what I remember when I read My Side of the Mountain with the kid, he actually had more like challenging stuff, but I think it was only valid because he was just a guy from a city versus a girl that already knew how to do stuff on an island that she already
That's
lived
fair.
for a long time.
Not enough struggle for you.
Yeah, I don't know. It was boring for me in the middle. And I was just, yeah, she had goals. And once she accomplished it, it was more goals. But it was just like, man, this is really repetitive. I'm not going to finish reading this. I'm doing an audio.
It was like, if there's a 30th chapter, I'm gonna blow my fucking brain out.
I kid you not, I wanted to give up reading this and be like, I'm not reading this, guys.
Gabe, I am so proud of you for
I
getting
also
through
think
it.
that.
Yeah, you
I
did.
really thought, like, I thought
I
you
fucking
were
finished it. Thank fucking God. Let's see what happens with the next book, though.
fair enough.
Gabe,
Depends on-
I gotta recommend The Hike to you. That's all I gotta say. I've just been raving about that book. That's good. I think you would like it, and the dialogue is funny.
Let's choose our next book.
Yeah.
Will we get a Ryan book?
Will we get a Ryan?
Am I rolling? then?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're back at the start of the cycle. No, roll a real die.
You want me to roll? Okay.
Yes.
He is fetching me a die.
We're not doing a D&D themed thing for you to roll online.
Now look at these little pet shops. Why are they
Actually,
fucking
blue
$80? The littlest pet shops. Oh my God.
Well, the dice I need to go all the
Dude,
way
I
to
used
the
to have this
bottom.
gray cat. I don't know what it is. I had a gray cat, a yellow cat.
You got an 11?
11. Let's see what 11 is. So 11 is Midnight Library by Matt Haig.
It's one of mine.
We will never get Ryan's book. We'll get all of Jasmine's and Juju's, and then all 6 of mine will just be spammed in a row.
The playlist in New York all over again.
Now you know how Jasmine feels.
The reverse.
What is it called?
Right. We will eventually get to your book. Books.
Midnight Library.
Midnight Library.
Yeah, I guess. This concludes our episode of Tins and Tales.
And then we will vote on another 10.
Y'all,
We'll do some research.
yeah, you guys will see what that will be.
I hope it's fish.
I don't think it will be fish, actually.
Oh.
Oh.
The Midnight Library by Matt Haig was published in 2020. It's about a woman, Nora Seed, and she reaches a breaking point, finds herself in a mystical place called the Midnight Library. Guided by a friend from the past, she's able to explore infinite lives to find out what really made life worth living. It's a bestseller in the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Boston Globe. If you're down for some existentialism, some cool science stuff, or if you're wanting to think about the meaning of life with Nora Seed, this tale is a good one for you. Be warned, though, here's your trigger warning. This book mentions emotional abuse, suicide, and depression. Prioritize your mental health, guys. Do what's best for you. Otherwise, stay tuned for our journey to the Midnight Library, coming to you on March 27th. We're going to be switching things up a little in the next episode involving our fancy little tins. But for now, drop a comment on whether or not you think our tin, the smoked salmon, fits the vibe of Island of the Blue Dolphins. Till next time, guys.